Raven County.
It's a Friday game night pick'em show here on AccessWDUN.com. Bo Wilson beside Jeff Hart, Seth Chapman. He's off camera behind a microphone. And via mobile studios, Caleb Hutchins. What's up,
Mobile
fellas?
Studios.
AKA a bedroom.
Yeah. How's that fan treating you, by the way?
It looks
It's
cool
pretty
in
great.
his room.
Yeah,
It's hot in here.
It's hot.
Hot in here.
This studio.
Send us some of that air.
Okay.
I'm glad that we're all here because I want to keep us here as long as possible because I'm in a really comfortable place right now.
Yeah, of course you do.
Wow.
Well, you're in a very comfortable place, and it's only 79 degrees in the place that we are in. But speaking of hot, Friday night,
That's
week
colder
one.
than it was when I got to work this morning.
Yeah, sure. Well, I forget. Bill wears a fleece jacket in the control room, and it's probably 85 degrees in the control room at the point that he has the jacket on, right?
Something like that. It's usually you have to swim over to the AC unit.
I haven't touched the AC unit yet back in our office, but when I do, Bill Wilson comes out
That explains why my shoes are always
walking
squishy.
like an Eskimo.
Yeah, my shoes are always squishy when I leave the
Or
office.
a
That
penguin, not an
explains it now,
Eskimo, a
Caleb.
penguin.
Because it's hot and it's a swimming
Yeah.
pool in here.
Yeah. All right, guys. Week one was hot, by the way, and weather hot, and there were some games that were hot. Quickly, before we get into the pickup show, your thoughts in 3 sentences or less. Go, Jeff.
Not too much different than what I expected. Enjoyed watching the Raven and Jefferson defenses get going, and wow on North Hall and their wing tee in week one.
Good job,
Hey,
Jeff. Look at
Yeah,
that.
3 sentences. That was good.
What you got,
All right,
Caleb?
so-
Nice and concise.
So my 3 sentences are
That's one.
It was starting now.
That's
It
2.
was, it was impressive. It was impressive to see Flowery Branch come back from getting down 14-0 early at St. Pius.
He's done. That's it.
I thought Jefferson's defense was probably the most impressive thing of the entire night. And Buford rallying in the third quarter was incredible to watch.
I have to really and truly echo what you just said, Caleb. Except I want to add, I want to take my number one to be Raven County and Jefferson and Jefferson's defense and the way that they played that game. Just a completely crazy hitting game on both sides. So I'm going to throw that one in there. But yes, a good week one for us.
I can sub mine.
What do
up.
you got?
I got 3 phrases.
Oh, phrases. Okay.
Lightning delay, late finish on games. 4:45 last video is done.
Oh, and you go there.
There he went.
That's how my first.
You know, I
one
was
went.
asleep at 4:45.
But
How about you,
I was
Bo?
very
No,
glad to be
I
at
was
the
barely
game
asleep.
that I was at, and it was a
I
wonderful
don't
game to
have a
watch.
violin in this room. I have a guitar and a ukulele, but if I had a violin, I'd be playing it
Could
right
you
now.
please pick the ukulele up and play us a tune?
Yes.
On the other side of the room. I actually don't remember how to play
I mean,
it.
you
I
got
bought it in
legs.
Daytona like
He
3
throws it
years
out
ago.
there and conveniently doesn't remember how to play.
I bought it in Daytona like 3 years ago because it was like $40. I learned how to play like 2 chords, and that was about 2 years ago. So I don't remember how to play it. It's a huge waste of money, but I have it.
Well, hey, at least it was only $40, right?
Right.
Okay. All right, let's get to the
Could have
pick.
bought another. He could have bought another PlayStation game with it.
Yeah, he could have.
That's why it was a
that
waste,
is
right,
true.
Jeff,
Caleb?
please.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so this week we're going to take 4 games. We're going to talk a little bit about those games. We're going to take the rest of the games, and we're going to do pick 'em style, where we just pick the winner. All right, so the games that we kind of discussed that we were going to talk about, we'll just start in no particular order here. Stevens County will travel to North Hall. Now, last year, North Hall in Toccoa lost this game 34-0. What say you, fellas?
Well, I guess I'll start. North Hall, I think, is a much better team than the North Hall team that Stevens County saw this time last year. By the same token, I think Stevens County is better too. I think you saw that with what they were able to do to White County in the fourth quarter of that game last week when they got thumped in Cleveland to start the year last year. So that I think to me is why this is probably the most intriguing game of this weekend, because these are two teams that I think are in a much better place than they were at this time last year. But I think North Hall, they found who their new lead man is their backfield last week against Paulding County. We wondered coming into the season, Clark Howell no longer there. We knew they had some pieces. We knew they had some experience, but did they have that guy who could really be the leading man in that wing T backfield? They found that last week, and Kevin Rochester had nearly 250 yards on the ground. So I think they have kind of already got their chemistry, not 100% where they want it, because that's still going to improve as the season goes on. But I think they're in a really good place right now mentally. And I think their defense is still very good, very physical. And I will be very surprised if this is not a very tight game at the Brickyard.
Did he pick a winner?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
I like North Hall.
Oh, there we go.
There it is.
Okay.
Jeff?
I'm gonna have to probably echo a lot of what he said. I like I mentioned in the 3 sentences we got earlier, the fact that they had 348 yards in week 1 in a wing T, where usually it takes them 2 or 3 weeks to kind of get it going.
Mm-hmm.
That is scary.
Right.
That is scary for everybody else. I think this could be a Class 3A playoff preview. I see both of these teams making a run in the playoffs. I think it's going to be a great game. But I'm kind of like it. I think even though you look at Stevens and they've got a nice quarterback in Ben Stowe, and they piled up over 300 yards last week against White County, and that's a team I think we thought would be pretty good. I think it's probably going to be an offensive show, but I see North Hall with its ground attack maybe kind of taking control there late. So I'm going to go with North Hall also.
North Hall started the season last year 0-3 against the same 3 opponents, Paulding, Stevens, and Hart County. I think the answer to the question, you go back to the way they started last year and what they have coming back. I don't think there was any question about Kevin Rochester and how he's going to step into the shoes of Clark Howell and then probably take it a little bit further, because he proved on Friday 248 yards rushing. North Hall came into the season with a ton of experience returning on both sides of the football. That experience started inexperienced last year, and it became more experienced as the season went on. They lost, as we said, the first 3 in a row. They come back and they reel off 3 in a row in that season. They end up finishing 5-1 in the region. Runners up in the region. Could have possibly maybe beaten Bluff, taking away some of those mistakes that they made in that game, and been the region champ, which nobody expected.
No.
I think North Hall just continues to build on what they learned last year this season, and will roll against Stevens County at the Brickyard on Friday.
All right.
Seth, what you got? You want to make a pick? Or are you just going to sit on your phone?
I don't like that you called me out for that.
I did.
Just answering a
You
text.
have no camera on you, so.
No, I don't.
You're answering a text? What? That's the lead story of the show.
Pay zero attention to anything we're talking
that
about.
is true. I think this show is just coming.
Which one? That I'm answering a text during the show, or that I have friends to text?
No, that you actually texted someone.
I do have a pick. We went.
It just flew right past that.
Yeah.
Pick your nose.
Stop. We have this game as our game of the week this week, and we went out, and I got to talk to Rochester and Purrier, and I got to talk to them, and they understand and they remember what happened last year, and I think they're very anxious to get out there and hit hard and heavy when the game starts. So I'm going for North Hall.
It's a sweep.
Clean sweep for North Hall. All right, next game on the list, West Hall at East Hall. This game, last year, a 30-22 win for East Hall. East Hall, however, a lot of, I don't want to say a lot of unknowns, because Matt Turner is not new to East Hall. He was the offensive coordinator a few years back.
When Austin Parker was
when Austin
there.
Parker.
Woo.
Now head coach at East Hall. West Hall last week, Caleb, played some very good defense. And, of course, we talked to Coach Montgomery on the webcast on Wednesday about his defense, and he said his strong suit is the secondary this year. They face Cleet Cooper, a top 5 Class 4A passer who can make passes and plays happen. What do you think about this matchup?
Well, I want to get y'all's answer to this question, because I know what my answer is, and that is, What team are you more interested to see their performance in this game this week? Is it East Hall or West Hall?
Wow, that's a good question.
I can't pick one or the other because I want to see Cleet Cooper against
The
West Hall's secondary
well, I
or
want
defense.
the whole defense. I tell you what,
I am interested, though, to answer your question. I am interested to see what Matt Turner has done with the program in the short time that he's had it throughout the summer. And I know, like I said, he's an East Hall guy. He's now at the helm of the program. You know, what response is he getting out of the players? I'm sure it's a great response. So I'm interested to see more so of what East Hall is going to do as far as the response to the new coaching staff.
I'd probably have to say that as well because they haven't played a game yet.
Right.
All we saw was a scrimmage game against a Riverside team that had like 11 or 12 of their starters standing on the sidelines, and they pretty much played JV the entire time. So there were some ridiculous plays being made in that game, you know, where you've got seniors going against, you know, 8th graders,
Right.
9th graders that are JV guys. So it was hard to say. I'm really interested to see what East Hall has. I agree. I think the response under Matt Turner, I think it will spell a lot. And more so than the offense, because I think Cleet Cooper and Matt Turner, I think they're going to dial up some points. East Hall's bugaboo has been their defense the last 3 or 4 or 5 years. So want to see if they can play some defense. So I think that's what I'm looking at. So if that's the answer to your question, you know, I guess I'll go first as far as making a pick. I think East Hall is going to score some points. I do. I think West Hall's offense is going to continue to get better. They have some pieces in place that I think that will be good as the season goes along. But I tell you, they may have arguably the second or third best linebacking group in Northeast Georgia as a collective whole. They've got a really good secondary. I think they're going to be able to get some pressure on Cleet Cooper. I think, and East Hall's got new receivers. One thing I did notice at the scrimmage, they dropped a lot of passes. So while there's some ridiculous plays made, there were a lot of easy plays.
What's your pick?
So I'm going to pick West Hall. I think I'm going to go with the defense on this. I think they can hold them enough, and I think that they'll probably grind out some points.
Caleb, what say you?
Well, the reason I asked that question is because to me, this is a very interesting game because West Hall has kind of been the dark horse. You know, how high can they climb the 7-3A ladder this year, understanding what they have coming back on defense, and that they're probably one of the most physical teams in Region 7-3A. We know they got the win against East Jackson in week 1. But for East Hall, you've got a whole new coaching staff. And so the reason I think this game is big is I think both teams feel like for the first time in a couple of years, they're coming into this season feeling like we can very easily be a playoff team. And so I think confidence is going to be very important. I think both teams also probably view this as a game they should win. Remember, East Hall won this one last year in Oakwood. They are riding a lot of confidence right now under Matt Turner and with, as Jeff alluded to earlier, what they did in the scrimmage game, albeit against a very young Riverside team. West Hall, meanwhile, is a very experienced team. They were improved last year, you know, and they won in week 1 already. So I think both teams probably feel like this is a game they should win. And you know, I don't know that either of them are necessarily wrong in thinking that. I think you can make the argument either way. Really and truly, I think West Hall wins this game just because I think they are a little more comfortable in what it is they're doing right now than East Hall is in what they're doing. It is their first full game under a new coaching staff and under a new, although slightly familiar offensive system under Matt Turner, given that we know it is, you know, a pass-happy attack similar to what they ran under Michael Perry. But I do think West Hall's experience and their comfort in their current systems will play out in this game. Also, I think a physical defense against an offense still trying to find itself is going to be a big difference maker there.
I think the biggest unknown about East Hall is going to be their defense. Jeff hit it on it just a while ago, talking about their defense. Their defense over the past few years giving up over 40-plus points a game. Under new coach, as we said, Matt Turner, who's the offensive guru. What has he done on the defensive side of the ball to improve the defense? West Hall has a ton of folks returning, you know, on their defensive side of the ball. So I have to go with West Hall in this one as well. Seth, sorry. I mean, you know, here we are trying to – you have to cut this part
Drinking
out.
water, man. That was good. I almost spit out my water. That's pretty good.
I got you, Jeff. You had your point. Anyway, go.
I'm kind of riding along with what you guys are saying. I think for me, it's a lot of toss-up for me because I've seen both teams. I've seen both teams making improvements. One's got a new head coach, bringing in just a slightly different style. For me, I think East Hall will roll in and get the win again.
East Hall?
Yes.
East Hall.
So,
All
Bert,
right,
you
so
picked West Hall. Is that
I
right?
picked West Hall, and just to show you how close this series is, it's 12-10.
Right. It's a close
So
series.
it's
It's
a
always been a
close
pretty
series.
good game.
All right, guys. So West Hall for Caleb, Jeff, myself, East Hall for Seth. All right, Pace Academy at Rabun County. This one was interesting when
It was. Okay.
Morris was the quarterback for Pace Academy for just a moment as he transferred from Carrollton to Pace last season and played some last season as well, but then transferred back to Carrollton. He's like the number 6 dual-threat quarterback in the class of 2022, I believe, is what the rankings are. So that was a great tool to lure ESPN into. You had 2 of the top quarterbacks in the country going against each other. Now not so much, but Pace Academy is still a talented team. What do you guys think about this matchup?
Well, I think Rabun County is going to win this game. I think they saw the toughest team they're going to play possibly this entire season, even if they were to play all of the top teams in AA through the playoffs. I think they might have seen their toughest competition last Friday in Jefferson. And that was a game, Jeff, you were there. They were a couple of plays away from that game coming down to the wire.
Absolutely.
I think there is absolutely zero reason to panic on Rabun County right now. They're going to be perfectly fine. And I actually think they will win this game Saturday night comfortably.
I don't know that I can argue against that. I think I'm going to take Rabun also. I will say this, though. Pace is they've been a team that's quick starting. They won 3 straight and 5 of their last 6 season openers. So they're a team that kind of gets ready for their first game. So that they probably had some film on last week, and I think that they're going to make it. They're going to make it close, and they've got that big defensive line, Heaven Brown Schuler, 7th rated guy in Class 22. So that's going to be. I mean, Rabun struggled with a couple of guys on the Jefferson interior line last week. I think they're going to have all they can handle with this guy. But I think. I agree with you. I don't, Caleb. I don't think that Rabun's going to see a better secondary and linebacking group than they saw in Jefferson last week. So I think they're going to be able to make some plays, and we saw what the defense can do. I think they're going to be fine. I agree, but I'm going to go with Rabun also.
So Rabun County, if you just look at their schedule, Jefferson number 1, Pace is unranked, Eagles Landing number 2 in Class A private. Don't know about Walhalla. Don't know about Pickens. Get to Pierce County, they're number 5.
Defending state champs.
Defending state champs. Wow, what a non-region schedule they put together. And this game, is going to be, I'm not going to say a tough game because I wrote it in kind of the games I want you of interest. I think Gunner's going to throw 5 touchdowns. I think Rabun walks in this one because of how they played last week, how tough they played. A Jefferson team that was also just as tough. So I'm picking Rabun County in this one to win.
Agreed. Going Rabun as well, seeing the performance against Jefferson, seeing how well their defense was, a wonderful and insane Jefferson team, and seeing how their defense was able to perform against Jefferson. Rabun walks on this one.
So we know, but we don't know. East Jackson at Jackson County. This is an in-county game. I don't know if you'd call it an in-county rival. I guess it is just because from the same county. This one is an interesting game. 14-7 losers to East Jackson was to West Hall. As we said earlier, Jackson County opening game of the season for them. A lot of intriguing things about it, a lot of unknowns about this game, guys. What do you think?
I'll go first on this one. I think that these are 2 teams that we talked about during the summer and the fall that we thought from going out to East Jackson, talking to Cameron Pettis, that they were going to be much improved. And we heard from Croft and Montgomery earlier this week. They're huge.
Right.
So, I think this is a team that's coming on. I think they're going to be much improved. But, Jackson County is a team. Didn't they beat Bluff in the scrimmage?
Well, they played them.
It was close.
It was close.
It was, I think, within 1 touchdown,
Yeah.
whatever it was.
Okay, but they were up or something in that.
They were up at one point.
Right, and we saw what Bluff can do. So I tell you, I think these are two teams that are kind of on the rise. Jackson County they have won 6 straight season openers. East Jackson's on a 9-game losing streak. Based on that, I'm going to, Jackson County is breaking in their brand new stadium at their brand new school. I think there's going to be so much hype and excitement. I think it's going to be really hard for Jackson County to lose this game. So I'm going to go with Jackson County.
I'm going to take the old approach that coaches do about the improvement between game 1 and game 2. How many coaches have you heard tell you make your most improvement between game 1 and game 2?
All of them.
All of them pretty much say that. So in that fact, a 14 loss to West Hall last week, Jackson County playing their first game. Granted, they are playing at their new stadium. There's going to be a lot of hoopla around that. I'm going to go with East Jackson to win this game over Jackson County this week.
Well, I do think East Jackson's improved. I do think it's interesting to see because I think a lot of times under Cameron Pettis, we'd kind of pegged East Jackson as kind of a fun and gun offensive team.
Mm-hmm.
We've covered games where they put up a lot of points and they've lost some shootouts, but this year's East Jackson team looks like one that's trying to run the ball, control the clock, play good defense. So I do think East Jackson's getting better. But I'll be honest with you, this Jackson County team to me is one of the most interesting ones in the area because what has always been the Achilles heel for Jackson County, not only in the first couple of years under Rich McWhorter, but going back to the Brandon Worley years, it was the offense. We've seen Jackson County teams that played really good, really stingy defense for much of the year and couldn't quite get it done on the offensive end. When you look at what they have offensively this year, they're going to run a 2-quarterback system with 2 guys who both have a lot of starts under their belt. And it's not because they don't feel confident enough in one of them. It's because Coach McWhorter does feel confident in both of them. They've got a good running back in Trey Ransom. They bring back almost every starter on the offensive side of the ball. I think you're going to see a Jackson County team that's going to be a little more potent offensively than what West Hall was last week. And I think that's going to spell some trouble for East Jackson, especially with the Panthers playing in that brand new stadium, playing on that turf. I think Jackson County is going to take this one. And I would say probably in the neighborhood of 10 to 14 points.
Okay. What you got, Seth?
I'll agree. New stadium, game opener, or season opener. I go Jackson County.
There you go. So now it's time to get to just the pick'ems in the show.
Rapid fire.
Rapid fire. So we'll start, and we'll just go around the circle here. Start with Jeff to Caleb to Seth to me.
Okay.
That's the circle in the studio. All right. So here we go. Appalachia at Habersham Central.
I'm going to take Hab.
Taking Habersham too.
Hab.
Clean sweep.
Buford at Clark Central.
That's not nice.
Buford. Had to think about it.
Buford by a lot. I think by a good margin.
Wolves.
Buford rolls big time. Chambly at Lumpkin County.
You know what? I'm gonna go with the Indians.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the Indians. They looked, and from what I can hear out in the area, they looked really good last week, even though they lost.
Chambly's a better team than I think people around here know, and I think Chambly's going to win the game.
Chambly.
Chastity at Cherokee Bluff. Chastity.
I'm gonna go with Bluff.
Okay.
I'm going with Bluff as well.
Bluff.
Commerce at Pickens. Not county, Pickens.
I'm going with Commerce.
I am going to take Pickens in this game. I think Commerce is going to have to play a lot better offensively than they did against Banks County this week. And while they're trying to work that out, I'm going to take Pickens.
What you got, Seth?
Commerce.
I'm going to take Pickens as well. This will be an interesting matchup. So, Pickens, this was won, by the way. A side note here, Commerce was supposed to travel to Union County. Game was canceled, I think, due to COVID quarantines up in Blairsville. So, Commerce was able to pick up Pickens for this game. So I'm picking Pickens in this. Picking Pickens. That's what I'm picking. Yep. Dawson County at Flowery Branch.
Yeah, taking Flowery Branch as well. Their defense has been really impressive so far.
Branch.
Yeah, I'm going to pick Branch as well. David Bernard, boy, last week, what a game he had. Franklin County at Banks County.
You know what? I'm going to go with Banks. I was impressed by what they did. They actually tied that game with Commerce last week, but had a touchdown called back.
I am going to take Franklin County.
Banks.
I'm going to pick the Leopards in this one. So Banks County. Don't disappoint me.
And for
Gainesville.
the first time on the show, I am by myself on this one.
All by yourself. Gainesville at Chattahoochee. Game on 94.5 The Lake, by the way.
The Red Elephants.
Yeah, Gainesville's going to bounce back big. I think they win this game by a comfortable margin.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think it's a huge bounce back by Gainesville. A roll past Chattahoochee in that one. Hart County at White County. You remember this game from last year? Wow, what a shootout. I don't believe it's going to be like that this year.
Yeah,
Go right ahead.
I think I'm going to take the Bulldogs. I'm kind of worried about the Warriors.
I'm going to take White County in an upset at home. That was a tight game with Stevens County until the fourth quarter. I think they will bounce back in their first game at home this week. I'm taking White County.
I'm going to go with Hart.
I'm going to, Hart's got some offense. I'm going to pick Hart County in this one. Jefferson at Central Gwinnett.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, let's go, Jeff.
Jefferson.
Okay.
Jefferson every day of the week and maybe 4 times on Friday.
With a side of
Dragons
barbecue
breathe
sauce.
fire on this one.
Yeah, Jefferson rolls with this one. Lakeview at Darlington, number 8 in the state.
I think I'm going to have to go with Darlington.
Okay.
Yeah, Darlington's going to be tougher competition than what Mount Perrin was last week for Lakeview. It's been a tough start to the season schedule-wise.
I'll go with Darlington.
Yeah, I'm going to pick up Darlington today. There's a long road trip for Lakeview, but Darlington in that one. So Lanier Christian last week, 68 points, 67 points, or 66 points. Whichever you want to go with. We have 68.
Either way, it's a lot of points.
Either way, it's a lot of points. The offense put up 8 big numbers. They traveled to Lafayette on Friday. Lanier Christian.
Lafayette Christian.
Lafayette Christian. Yes, that'd be correct.
Out of I believe, LaGrange.
There you go.
Right. Going to go with LCA on that.
Okay.
I'm also taking Lanier Christian.
Same.
Yep, LCA.
I like
on
this
that
new
one.
LCA team. I like this team.
North Forsyth at Harrison.
Normally,
This
you're
is kinda
thinking Harrison,
intriguing.
they won a title 2 years ago, but boy, they got problems, I think. So I'm going to go with North Forsyth.
North Forsyth is a big team, might be one of the biggest teams size-wise North Forsyth has had in years. I like the way they looked in week 1 against Alcovy. I'm taking them this week.
Once again, I say agreed.
Yep, I do like the way they looked against Alcovia. So North Forsyth over Harrison in that one. Rabun Gap at East Forsyth. Now, Rabun Gap, you guys know about Rabun Gap, right? They're loaded with some talent.
Man, they got 4 players in Georgia's top 100 on, I believe it's 24/7.
So
4.
They travel to East Forsyth, the new kids on the block.
It's not going to be pretty,
What say you?
unfortunately. Yeah, I'm afraid it's. Just hope East Forsyth comes out of this in one piece.
Yeah, I'm going to take Rabun Gap too.
Same.
Yep, Rabun Gap as well. Rabun Gap plays in that North Carolina High School Association, I believe, is what they play in, but East Forsyth picking them up. By the way, East Forsyth not playing a Region 7 3A schedule this season. All right, so another programming note for you. The St. Anne Pacelli at Riverside game has been canceled as well. So, Riverside, a run of bad luck to start the season, or is it a run of good luck for them as they continue to get more practice time underneath them?
That's a good question. Good question. They could use. I mean, they get started so late.
Mm-hmm.
This might actually work to their advantage.
All right, and the final game on the schedule here for us, Towns County at Armucci,
whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
I tell you, I was impressed by what Towns County did last week. They put up some big offensive numbers, and the defense really looked good. I'm going to go with the Indians. I'm trying to – the last time they started 2-0, we'd have to look back and see. It's been a while.
Okay.
It's been a while.
They're going to start 2-0 this year. They beat Armucci last year. I'm taking them to do it again.
Yet again, agreed.
I like the attitude that Coach Rockmore brings to that program. I think he's got that program moving in the right direction up at Hiawassee. Towns County will start 2-0 this year.
Man.
There you go. There you have it, folks. Our first Pick'em show, our Friday game night Pick'em show. Hope you enjoyed it. And guys, before we go quickly, what are you looking for this week?
Are we talking about
Just
anything?
in two sentences, what are you looking for?
What am I looking for this week? I'm looking to see some of these teams that are on the periphery, like an East Jackson, a West Hall, maybe. Even, I know in Jackson County is another, and to see how they kind of handle themselves coming in out of this week, because I think we have some teams that are on the verge of being really good. Like to see how they come out this week.
I want to see North Hall's offense against what will be probably a bigger and more physical Stevens County team than what they faced last week at Paulding. I think they can do it, but I want to see it in action.
I want to see Raymond County back in action against Pace County and see exactly how many touchdowns Gunnar Stockton can connect with his receivers in that game. And I also want to see what Gainesville does against Chattahoochee coming off that 26-10 loss where their offense kind of sputtered when they got down to the red zone. Can they bust through this week?
I'm eager to see that East Hall West Hall game.
Yeah, I think we all are. I think that might be one of the most intriguing ones.
Little in-county in-county rivalry, and looking forward to seeing that one, how that plays out.
Should be a good one. Check Caleb out on Twitter at Hutch9473. Look, I remembered this time Jeff at Hart, JJ22. I'm at the Bo Wilson. Seth's on Instagram somewhere. Just Google his name, Instagram, and you might find it. I can never remember his Instagram.
Usually
also,
I'm just operating our Instagram.
Yeah, there you go. At Friday Game Night at WDUN Sports. And go to the Friday Game Night page for all your high school football coverage, as we'll have several stories on there for you to get yourself ready for week number 2 of the high school football season. For Caleb,
we can
for
see
Jeff,
it, Caleb. Put
for
it down.
Seth, I'm Bo. Enjoy week number 2.